it became so filled with happiness by experiencing the softness of its beloved Krishna's lotus hand, it did not know it was being struck by Indra's thunderbolt. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. Trying to collect a toll, Krishna quarreled there with King Vishabhanu's daughter. The personified Vedas yearned to listen to that quarrel. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. Bathing in the nearby lake, the elephant of a pleasant breeze, covered with pollen of kadamba and other flowers, gracefully plays there. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. Does the sweet fragrance of Govardhan come from the musk deer who relax there, from the lord who plays there, or is it Govardhan's own natural scent? May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. Searching there for Lord Hari on the path of his flute music, the astonished deer do not find him. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. As the divine couple traveled on the Ganges, there the boat began to sink in the middle. Krishna was splendidly handsome as Radha clung to his neck. May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. Without taking shelter of the feet of the hill, that is the best of Lord Hari's servants and full of love for the divine king and the queen, how is it possible to attend pure devotional service? May Govardhan Hill fulfill my desire. May the reader of these 8 verses glorify Lord Hari's greatest servant, his heart, melting with pure love, quickly attend direct service to the lotus feet of Shri Shri Radha Madhava. Hare Krishna, Govardhan Hill Parvan ki Jai.
Mataji, you're muted.
Thank you very much, Kamakshi. So this was the Govardhan Mastakam by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Govardhan Ki Jai. So we can try and glorify Govardhan a little bit. So this is in okay, sorry, I've got the wrong thing up. Just bear with me. Okay, so we can just offer our respects to Govardhan. So Namaste Girajaya Shri Govardhan Namine Asesha Klesha Nasaya Paramananda Daine. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the King of all hills, Govardhan Hill, the source of enjoyment for the senses, land, and cows. He is a servant of Krishna and is Krishna himself. He puts an end to unlimited sufferings and bestows the supreme bliss. So basically, this is a pictorial version of Govardhan Hill and all the different Leela places there. Okay, so sorry, computer is playing up a bit. It's just taking on me onto the next screen. Okay, so there's one of the first places that we can look at is Kusum Sarovar. So many pastimes took place here at Kusum Sarovar. One morning, Srimati Radhika and her Sakhis arrived on the bank of the lake to pick up fragrant flowers that bloomed here in abundance. Seeing a branch full of flowers, she pulled it down with one hand and started to pick flowers with the other. Knowing that Srimati Radharani was coming, playful Krishna had climbed that tree and had stationed himself on that very branch. So basically, when she let go, he held it, and then she flew up in the air when he let go of the branch. So he liked teasing Radharani like that. We'll just go through all the different places today, and then we'll do the actual Parikrama of Govardhan tomorrow. So we can just see what is it on Govardhan. And I'll give you a little idea of the Govardhan that I have created here today in a little while. Using all his weight to push that branch down, he had hidden himself so that Srimati Radharani would not see him. Radharani became absorbed in picking flowers from that branch when Krishna suddenly shifted to another branch. At once, the first branch sprung up, lifting Srimati Radharani with it. Radhika cried out for help, and Shri Krishna immediately leapt from the tree and caught the hanging Srimati Radharani in his hands. Saying this, the Sakhis began clapping and laughing loudly, but Radhika began to scold him. She was not happy with what he was doing. Tortoises living in the Kusum Sarovar are said to be great sages, living for centuries in the bodies, meditating on the divine pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Legend has it that if you feed the tortoises, you will become healthy. Anyone who bathes in sanctified waters of this lake becomes eligible to witness the ambrosial eightfold pastimes, Asta Kalya Leela, of Sri Radha and Krishna. During Lord Chaitanya's times, this place was known as Kusum Sarovar. It is stated in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Sri Chaitanya also took bath here. As you can see, it looks like a palace, and it still looks like that at the moment. It's not dilapidated. Then we come to Haridev Temple. This place is a temple dedicated to Uddhav. So Uddhav came here when Krishna told him to come from Dwarka to appease and see how the Vrajvasis were doing. This temple was established by Krishna's great grandson about 4,800 years ago. Uddhav is the cousin of Lord Krishna. He's the son of Vasudev's brother and almost the same age as Krishna. And his body resembles Krishna's body almost exactly. After delivering Krishna's message to the gopis, Uddhav realized the exalted position and prayed, "Let me be fortunate enough to be one of the bushes, creepers or herbs in Vrindavan, because the gopis trample them and bless them with the dust of their feet." Uddhav remains here in the form of grass known as Gulmalata. This is the deity of Uddhav at Kusum Sarovar in that temple.
Hard stop.
Then we have Ashok one. This kunj is also on the bank of Kusum Sarovar, and this is where Krishna braided Srimati Radharani's hair. This pastime is described by Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami in Govinda Lilamrit. And there's a small temple on the left of Kusum Sarovar that marks the place where Krishna decorated Radharani's hair. Next, we come to Narad Kund. After Narad Muni heard the glories of the supreme Gopi Bhav from the mouth of Vrinda Devi, a strong desire to serve Radha and Krishna in the form of the Gopi arose in his heart. So he received a Gopal mantra from Brahma and began his sadhana bhajan. After performing worship for many yugas, Yogmaya Purnamasi dipped Naradji in Kusum Sarovar and he received a body of a Gopi. Thereafter, he obtained the qualification to perform seva of the divine couple. Seeing Narad there in the form of a Gopi, Shri Krishna requested him to stay at Naradvan and write Bhakti Sastras. Although Narad has been cursed by Daksha not to be able to stay in one place, Krishna informed Narad that because Vrindavan Dham is not a part of the material world, the curse of Daksha would not apply here. So if you remember, Narad doesn't stay in one place very long. It's only a few moments and he's off again because of the curse of Daksha. After another bath in Kusum Sarovar, he changed back to his male form, returned to this place where he wrote the famous treatise, which is the Narad Bhakti Sutra. And Narad may have instructed Prahlad here in the womb of his mother, since it is said that he took her to his ashram and instructed little Prahlad in the womb for some time. In any other place, it would not be possible for Narayan to stay for some time, and it is concluded that he must have done it here in Braj. The Daksha's curse had no effect. Then we have Brahma Kund. It's said to mark the spot where Shankachuda carried off Radharani, who was sitting on a jeweled throne. On the full moon day after Shiva Chaturdasi, Shivratri, Shri Krishna and Shri Balaram were playing Holi with the gopis, using shringes and squirt each other with water of many colors. Sweet music and melodious ragas fill the air. At this time, a servant of Kuven named Shankachuda, who considered Bhagavan Shri Krishna to be an ordinary human being, tried to abduct these extremely beautiful gopis. In voices of distress, they started to call out Krishna, Krishna. Shri Krishna ran to the call of the gopis with great speed and killed Shankachuda with his fist. He took the jewel from the demon's forehead and gave it to Shri Balaram, who sent it to Srimati Radharani through the Nishta. Then we have the Rastali. This is one of the places where the Ras Leela takes place in Braj. The concrete circle with a sill on it is a place where Krishna and the gopis would dance. So there's different places in Braj where the Ras Leela takes place. This is one of them. And we have the Ratna Simhasan. This is where Sri Radhika sat down on the Simhasan throne, and this throne was made entirely from precious gems like diamonds, rubies, and sapphires. Then we have Shyam Kutir, which is situated amidst thick clusters of trees near the Ratna Simhasan. Here, Shyamsundar smeared his body with Shyam-colored musk, dressed himself in Shyam-colored clothes and ornaments, and entered a Shyam-colored Nikunj. Even the gopis not able to recognize him. Shyam means black or dark. So one of the most beautiful spots in Goverdhan Parikrama, the whole area of Ras dance pastimes is protected by fence-like barrier of cactuses. Also marks the spot where Goverdhan hill first starts to appear above the ground. And from this point, you can see Goverdhan rise until it reaches the highest point before Aniyor village. Also famous because the actual lotus footprints of Lord Krishna is impressed upon one of the rocks of Goverdhan hill. And he said that even the rock of Goverdhan hill began to melt when Krishna played his flute, and that is how this footprint came to be. A little further on, Goverdhan emerges even more from the ground, and beautiful cows and bulls reminds us of Krishna's pastimes. Then we have Gopal Kund. Gopal means cowherd boy, and Kund is a pond. After early lunch at Gwalpoka, which is another name, Krishna managed to slip away from the company of the cowherd boys and head off to Radhakund, where he would meet Radharani and the gopis. And we have Jugal Kund. So on our way on the Parikrama, there's Jugal Kund, where Nand Maharaj and the cowherd men would stay on the way from Gokul to Nandgram. And we have Kalayanvan, where Krishna would play bowl with his cowherd friends and enjoy water pastimes with the gopis. And passing by the ear of Govardhan, we proceed to the Govardhan town. So we've probably done about 3 kilometers of the Parikrama by now. And then just as one enters Govardhan, on the right side is the beautiful palace built by the king of Bharatpur. And then we have the Panchtirtha Kund. So at the side of this palace is the Panchtirtha Kund, which contains the waters of 5 holy rivers, which is Narmada, Gomti, Saryu, Kanchi, and Vetri. Then we have the Mukharvinda temple. So that 2 shilas in this temple. One shila is marked with the outline of Krishna's crown, Mukut. And according to Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, the other shila is the mouth of Govardhan. So that's why it's Mukharvinda Shila. Pilgrims pour a lot of milk every day on to this Govardhan Shila. So as you can see here, I think that's Tamil Krishna Maharaj there, pouring milk. It's all right. Carry on with your thing. Then we have Chakra Tirtha. This was created by Sudarshan Chakra and is embedded in the northern bank of Mansi Ganga.
Oh, it's still going on that loop.
Yeah, I know it's all. So Chakleshwar Shivling is at Mansi Ganga. It's one of the 5 presiding Shivlings which is worshipped in Vrindavan. And there's many other interesting places around Mansi Ganga. One of them is the Bhajan Kutir of Sanatan Goswami. He used to perform Govardhan Parikrama as his daily vow. And when he was thinking about moving from this place because of the mosquitoes, Lord Shiva, who's Chakleshwar, disguised as a Brahmin, came and told him that the mosquitoes would no longer disturb him. So even now, this place is free from mosquitoes. So then we have Mansi Ganga. Some Mansi, Man means mind, and Ganga refers to the river Ganga. So Krishna was once tending the cows with the cowherd boys, and Vatsasura came in a disguise as a calf, wanted to kill Krishna. Krishna was aware of him, took him by his hind legs and whipped him round and threw him up into the tree. Because Krishna killed the demon in the shape of a calf, cowherd boys asked him to take a bath in Ganga in order to purify himself. So not wanting to live Raj, Krishna informed the cowherd boys that he would call the river Ganga to appear in Raj. So Krishna entered into meditation and Ganga Mata manifested in front of him in the form of Mansi Ganga. On another occasion, Nanda and Yashoda, hearing of the glories of Ganga, had a desire to bathe in it. And they'd heard how Garud captured a snake and on his way accidentally touched his tail in the Ganga. The snake was transformed into the 4-armed form of Vaikuntha resident. And amazed, Garud took him to Vaikuntha. So Yashoda and Nand wanted to go on this journey to have a dip in the Ganga. Seeing the arrangements made for the journey, Krishna, not wanting to be separated from them, informed Nanda and Yashoda that there is no need to go out of Raj, since all the holy places are present here. So when Krishna arrived with Nanda and Yashoda and the others on the shore of Mansi Ganga, Ganga Mata personified appeared from the water and offered praise to the Lord. But the inhabitants of Vrindavan saw Ganga, they offered obeisances to her and took bath in her waters. So many other pastimes of Krishna and the gopis took place in Mansi Ganga. The most famous one that we know about is this, where he is disguised as a person who takes boat across the Ganga. So he disguised as an old boatman and made the gopis feed him with sweets and milk, massage his legs and arms to continue rowing, and finally throw out all the pots, jewels, and bracelets into the water to prevent the heavy boat from sinking. So when he suggested that the boat is too heavy, they should sacrifice their clothes and throw them also into the water, then the gopis refused. And when he arranged for a storm and embraced Radharani for protection, he was finally exposed. Then we have Brahma Kund. So this kund was formed by the water that was collected after Lord Brahma bathed Lord Krishna. This is after the Brahma Vimohan pastime, where Brahma has taken the boys away for a whole year, and then he comes back and apologizes to Krishna. So Brahma offered his prayers after he took the cowherd boys away and hid them to test the power of Krishna. It is located on the southern bank of Mansi Ganga. Looking for some. And we have the Manasi Devi Temple as well, located on the bank of Brahma Kund. And she's the presiding deity of Mansi Ganga, and one of the four main goddesses of Rajdam. The others are Vrinda Devi in Kamyavan, Yogmaya in Vrindavan, and Patleshwar Devi in Mathura. Then we have Haridev Temple, which is near Mansi Ganga. This was established by Krishna's great grandson, Vaishnava, and Haridev is one of the four presiding deities of Vrindavan. It's a 2-minute walk from the southern bank of Mansi Ganga. And it was built, the temple was built by King Bhagandas of Jaipur. His son Rajaman Singh built the Govindji temple in Vrindavan during the reign of Emperor Akbar. The original deity of Haridev has been moved to the town of Rajdhani near Kanpur, because Aurangzeb sent his soldiers to destroy all the deities and temples in Raj. But that deity is also no longer in Rajdhani, so I'm not sure what's happened. One day, Srimati Radharani and the gopis were waiting for Krishna to come and meet them. And as they were waiting, the gopis started to feel intense separation from Krishna. They began to chant Haridev, Haridev, Haridev over and over again. And that feeling intensified to the point of almost giving up their lives. So suddenly Krishna appeared in this beautiful deity form of a 7-year-old boy holding Goverdhan hill in his left hand and flute in the other. And the ecstasy of Radharani and the gopis knew no bounds. Since then, Radharani and the gopis would come here every day and worship Govardhan Nath Haridev with many offerings. Gauranga also came to the village known as Govardhan, and it was here that he saw the deity of Haridev and offered his obeisances and began to dance before the deity. Haridev is the presiding deity of Giriraj Govardhan, and no Govardhan Parikrama is complete without his darshan. So Mansi Ganga is traditionally the starting and ending point of Govardhan Parikrama after bathing in Mansi Ganga and taking darshan of Haridev. So this is the temple in the main town of Govardhan, which is the Dan Ghati temple. It was once on the bank of Golden Kund that Bhaguri Rishi performed yajna to praise the deity, and the cowherd boys and the girls brought offerings for that yajna. When Radharani brought offerings from the other side, which is from Barsana, Sri Krishna became a toll collector and obstructed her path and demanded toll tax to cross from there. That's why it's called Dan Ghati. And if you take a closer look at that temple, you can see just at the top is Govardhan with all the Brajvasis and cows and Krishna lifting Govardhan. Dan Ghati said this was once, it was a narrow pass used by the gopis when they wanted to take the milk products to the other side of Govardhan. Krishna blocked the way and demanded a tax. Go back. No, okay.
So this is one of the pastimes where there's interaction between
Krishna
and the gopis. And this is written by Rupa Goswami, I think, in one of his books, the different interactions that the gopis and gopas have and Krishna has. Very interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Then we got Lakshmi Narayan Temple.
So this is in Govardhan town as well, of the Lakshmi Narayan Temple. So at the crossing of Mathura Road is the Lakshmi Narayan Temple. And this is one of the 108 Divya Desham temples mentioned by the Alvas as being one of the most important temples in Bharat. And as you can see, there's a pilgrim here, Babaji, doing Dandavat Parikrama all the way around Goverdhan. It takes him months probably to do the whole Parikram. So they do 108 Dandavats at one place, and then they move on to the next place.
And they keep account by moving these beads or stones probably. From
Looks
one,
like beads on this one.
beads on, yeah.
Yeah. So just after Govardhan town, we pass the ISKCON temple on the Parikrama. This beautiful property was formerly owned by the Maharaj Chhatrapur from Madhya Pradesh, was worshipping beautiful Govardhan Shila in the small shrine. And then when the devotees moved in, they continued the worship of this deity.
Yeah, right.
So during digging of a large hole for the underground water tank, the devotees discovered a Govardhan Shila that turned out to be exactly the same size and shape as the existing Krishna Shila. So this Shila was whitish in color and now is worshipped as Balram at Krishna's side. From the temple roof, there's a good view of Dani Raja Temple on top of the hill dedicated to Krishna's text pastime. So this temple has been abandoned and the priests have moved the worship to a new temple of Dani Gati Giriraj Mandir at the crossing of Mathura Road. Since devotees from Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya never step on Govardhan Hill as Sri Chaitanya taught, the priests wanted the deity to move down to be visited by more devotees. Then we come to the Dhanivartar Kund. Once when Radharani and her girlfriends were at Radha Kund, one of Radharani's pet parrots informed her of a great sacrifice being conducted at Govind Kund. Taking bath and dressing very nicely, Radharani and all girlfriends left Govind Kund, carrying golden pots of milk products on their heads. Meanwhile, Krishna's pet parrot told him that Srimati Radharani was proceeding towards Govind Kund along with her girlfriends. When Radharani and gopis arrived, Krishna challenged them to stop and pay the tax. He said, "You're regularly using this pathway to sell your milk products, but you never ever pay the tax." He told Radharani each of her assistants must pay a handful of diamonds as a tax, and by his clever use of words, the argument turned personal, suggesting that Radharani must pay extra tax for all the beautiful parts of her body. Radharani became angry and walked away, but Krishna forcibly stopped her, and he told Radharani that she could go, but Lalita must stay as a hostage to make sure they would return to pay the tax. So Lalita in fury threatened them by calling Mother Yashoda and Radharani's mother-in-law Jatila. Finally, Nandimukhi, Radharani's close companion, convinced Krishna to release Radharani because her reputation as a chaste lady would be ruined, and assured him that the gopis would return next day to this kund to pay tax in full. However, the gopis were feeling very angry at Krishna for threatening them in this way. Next day, Lalita, Vishaka, and hundreds of gopis hid themselves around this lake. So when Krishna arrived with a few of his cowherd boys, the gopis pounced on them, beat them, tied them up to the tree, and humiliated them in various ways.
So these pastimes are almost happening every day,
Mm.
the Dandati pastimes. And the Yogamaya would arrange that they would not remember the previous day's pastimes. So every day would be a fresh lila that would take place. And very interesting. Oh, sorry, here it is. My goodness. Yeah, as I already said.
Yeah. So now we come to the famous Aniyor village. So Aniyor means more, give me more. So basically the story of the Golden Puja is based on this little episode. So when Krishna saw that the men were preparing for a sacrifice, he asked them why, how, and for whom it was. So Nand Maharaj said that due to tradition, they worshipped Indra as his sent to rains. Krishna persuaded the man not to do the sacrifice, as rains even fall on the ocean, and due to karma, we get rains. So instead, he asked them to worship Goverdhan hill, and local Brahmins and Maharaj finally relented. So, as the story goes, Indra got, following Krishna's advice, Brajvasis cooked thousands of wonderful preparations, placed them here in the area between Golden Kund and Aniyo village. There were literally thousands of hills made of samosas, kachoris, rice, halwa puris, sweet bowls, sabjis, sweet rice, and innumerable other preparations for the pleasure of Govardhan hill. So when the puja was to begin, Krishna suddenly expanded himself into the gigantic body of Giriraj. He declared that he is Govardhan himself and started to eat all the preparations made by Brajvasis. So he dunked the water from various spoons and was still unsatisfied and started to say, Aniyo, Aniyo, bring me more, bring me more. So the village near Sankarshan Kund is until now called Aniyo. So this is the reason why on Golden Puja Day, we have lots of uncooked offerings and offer it to Govardhan. So gigantic Govardhan finished all that was prepared and still unsatisfied. So they were saying, Aniyo, Aniyo. So the Brajvasis became little worried. They said, we're poor villagers. Whatever we have presented before you. Please be satisfied with that. And somebody suggested that the Supreme Lord will satisfy with the tulsi leaf and water from the Ganga. So that is exactly what they did. So, so as you can see, Krishna's turned into Govardhan hill there. All the demigods are witnessing this wonderful Leela as well. So they gave him tulsi leaves, and when he dunked Mansi Ganga, Kusum Sarovar, and other kunds, he finally explained, Tiptosmi, Tiptosmi, which means I'm satisfied. And he wiped his hands and mouth with his cloth. He told the Brajvasis to ask for a boon. So they requested for only one. May this Lala of ours always remain happy and live a very long life. By Lala, they of course mean Krishna. So they would never ever ask anything for themselves, always asking for Krishna. When the four-handed form of Giriraj disappeared, Krishna told the Brajvasis, did you ever have darshan of Lord Indra? And Giriraj is very kind. He came personally to see you. He fulfills everyone's desires. After Golden Puja, all the Brajvasis became very satisfied and felt that their lives were successful. Nand Maharaj called the Brahmins to perform huge yagyas, and all the demigods attended, all except Indra. So Indra became very angry and he called for these devastating clouds and ordered them to destroy Vrindavan, inundating the whole area with an extensive flood. He wanted to destroy the Brajvasis and the cows, because Indra thought Krishna was simply a talkative little child, unaware of the complete cosmic situation. So the clouds began to pour water incessantly with all the strength and power. So there was constant lightning and thunder and blowing of severe wind. The rainfall seemed to fall like piercing sharp arrows. By pouring water as thick as pillars without cessation, the clouds filled all the lands of Vrindavan water. The situation was very dangerous. So at that time, all the inhabitants of Vrindavan began to pray to Lord Krishna. They said, Dear Krishna, you're all powerful and you're very affectionate to your devotees. Now please protect us, who have been much harassed by angry Indra. So Lord Krishna immediately picked up Govardhan hill with his left hand and gave shelter to all the people and animals, especially the cows. Krishna held Govardhan hill up with his little finger of his left hand. His devotees were very concerned that Krishna would get tired and hungry and tried to assist him. Like you see, they had also holding up sticks to hold up Govardhan. Inhabitants of Vrindavan and the animals remained there for 1 week without being disturbed by hunger, thirst, or any other discomforts. They were simply astonished to see how Krishna was holding up the mountain with his little finger of his left hand. Seeing the extraordinary mystic power of Krishna, Indra, the king of heaven, was thunderstruck and baffled in his determination. He immediately called for all the clouds and asked them to stop. When the sky became completely cleared of all the clouds and there was sunshine again, the strong winds also stopped. So Indra realized his mistake, he immediately fell down at lotus feet of Krishna. Although his own crown was dazzling as sunshine, Indra knew that about the exalted position of Krishna. Krishna is the master of Indra. He could not believe that Krishna could come down and live in Vrindavan, just like a small boy, and live with the cowherd man. Now, with his false puffed up prestige destroyed, he approached Krishna with folded hands and prayed for forgiveness. Krishna was really unhappy because Indra had tried to kill his loved ones by the heavy rainfall. So Indra was clever enough, so he brought Surbi cow with him because he knew that Krishna loved cows. So Surbi asked forgiveness on Indra's behalf, and because Krishna loves cows, he forgave Indra. So at that time, Krishna was given the name of Govinda, protector of the cows. So the lesson we can learn is that Krishna is very kind. Even such a big mistake of Indra was forgiven. So this actually took place when Krishna was 7 years, 2 months, and 17 days old. This pastime of Goverdhan. Okay. So we can stop there for today. And then we can give you a quick darshan of Goverdhan as well.
Wait. I cannot do it. We can walk around.
Haribol.
You know that map of Parikrama,
Goverdhan.
can you put it back
Yeah.
up? Just wanted to share my imagination with Naniben, her being medical.
Okay.
It shows the heart, peripheral and cerebral circulation of the body. Do you think so, Naniben?
Sorry, I didn't understand because I was on the mute. What did you?
Oh, okay. The picture Nabi is looking for,
Yes.
it just reminds me of the cardiac circulation to the upper arm and the cerebral.
Okay, let's see the picture. Let's see.
Yeah. It's there.
1 second. Please.
Sorry, just thought it was so appropriate to say.
Okay.
1 second.
Sorry, if you can't find it, don't worry.
No, we got it. There.
This one, Naniben is a medical person, the heart,
Oh, this one.
the
Yes.
left and left, right arms and the cerebral going up to the head.
Yes.
Isn't
And the
it?
body. This is the lower
Yeah.
part.
Yeah, upper part of the body,
Wow.
the cardiac circulation, the upper part and the cerebral.
Yeah,
Isn't
makes sense. Makes sense. Yes.
Yeah,
Could be a
okay.
little different.
Thank you.
This could be the arms, the four
These are-
arms.
Yeah,
That's his head.
head,
This is,
and there's a
waist,
cardiac.
and there's his dhoti.
Okay, it was just, I was just
And
admiring,
it's,
really.
other thing is very symmetrical, isn't it?
Very symmetrical, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just,
Very
I remember my biology lessons in my studying.
Well done.
Haribol.
Very good comparison.
It's a mundane thing, but it does make sense.
Yeah, it is.
Haribol.
Very good. Thank you. Any other comments or questions?
How long does the parikrama take? I think we've asked this question before.
So it's 21 kilometers. So it depends how fast we usually take about 8 hours.
I take
Okay.
12 because I'm really slow.
Yeah.
Okay, so 8 to 12 hours.
On one leg is very hard.
People who do it regularly can do it in 3-4 hours.
3-4 hours, yeah.
Must be walking very fast. It's
Yeah.
31
Yeah.
kilometers. Okay.
I mean, we have to take a break after every 3-4 kilometers to have a drink or something.
3,
It
4.
all
Mm.
depends on the capability and how
Yeah.
healthy you are. I
Mm.
couldn't do it.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Hari
Hare
Bol.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You know, there are devotees who do the parikrama every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every
Not
day.
just once. They do it sometimes 2 or 3 times. even,
Yes.
Every
Yeah.
day.
Every day.
Yes.
Amazing.
I think they are Vraj Vasis. Huh?
Yeah.
Just
Exalted sages.
very exalted.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes they walk alone,
Mm.
alone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Oh, so let me just put the audio on the Govardhan. 1 second. Okay, so let's have. Oh, there's that. Okay, so
Start with Mansi Ganga because that's what it said.
so Mansi Ganga. Where are we? Mansi Ganga? Is it the other side?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, it's there. Sorry. It's here.
Mansi
Mansi Ganga
Ganga?
is there. This side.
Oh yeah. So we started Mansi Ganga,
Yes.
which is there. Oh no, Kusum Sarovar. Oh, there you go. Mansi Ganga. Mansi Ganga. And then we walk around. So this is the Anior village. Anior village.
Let's go then.
On your village.
It took me years to do this, by the way. Actually, no, it was a Jayanti, as you all know.
Let's
And this
go.
is
Go
Govardhan.
there.
Yeah, go then. And he's eating
All these. That's the
the feast,
offerings.
the uncle offerings.
Wow. Very well done, Mataji.
No.
Thank you.
We have Govind Kund here.
Our Govind Kund is there as well. Yeah,
She said Mataji, not Prabhuji.
Yes, I know. That's what I was going to comment, but I thought, yeah, and he's late as well. So, but he's not, he's supposed to be Ben today.
Then the Surabhi village. And then we have Jatipur village. Where you go? Where you go? Where you go? That's Anir village. Jatipura village.
Wow.
And then this is Govardhan town.
Mm.
So all this actually is Govardhan town up to
Yeah.
the inside from here to Mansi Ganga.
Right. And then we have the beautiful Radha Kund and Shyam Kund.
Wow.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yes, good effort actually. Very good effort. So we can walk around a few times and Jaya Radhe.
Jaya Krishna.
Jaya Radhe. Yeah. Govind. What was it? Where's this? It's Karuna. Just check. Govinda Gopi Janama Shyama Kanda Radha Govardhan Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Jaya Maha Shikata Vamsi Vata Vata Sakana Kalindi Jamuna Jaya Abadila Koilo Shinanda Nanda. How many times does that mean? Yes, go ahead.
Shri Rama Jaya Jaya Denu Vatsaga Jaya Vrishabhanu Jaya Kirtida Sundari Jaya Purnamasi Jaya Abhira Nagari Jaya Jaya Gopishwara Vrindavanama Jaya Jaya Krishna Sakha Batu Dvijara Jaya Ram Jaya Rohini Nanda Jaya Jaya Vrindavana Vasirata Jaya Dvija Patni Jaya Naga Kanyaga Bhakti Tejahar Pailo Govinda Charan Shri Rasamandala Jaya Jaya Radhashyam Jaya Jaya Rasalila Sarva Manora Jaya Jaya Jwala Rasa Sarva Rasa Sar Parakiya Bhave Jaha Brajete Prachar Shri Janava Pada Padma Koriya Smara Din Krishna Dasa ko hai Nama Sankirtan Jaya Radhe Jaya Krishna Jaya Vrindavan Shri Govinda Gopinath Madana Mohan Shri Gauri Govardhan ki jai Nagan Dham ki jai
Well done, Karuna. Thank you so much for taking that over.